Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. And in today's video, we're going to be continuing My Hero Academia: The Dark Knight Returns. What if Deku was Batman? Season 2, Part 2. As always, if you're new to the channel or if you're a regular and like what we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. Where we last left off with our series, both Izuku and Melissa were attempting to get a work studies with the Sir Nighteye agency. In doing so, the two come face to face with Sir Nighteye, who is aware of both of their identities as the successors to both All Might and the famed Batman. However, for them to earn their place in his work studies, they must prove themselves, as he wishes to see why they, of all people, can be the ones to inherit the two great symbols of peace in the world, that of the great hero All Might and the world's greatest detective in Batman. However, while our heroes continue to train and grow, evil still lies under the surface, looking to make their next move against hero society. For all this and more, stay tuned as we now continue today's story. As always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Both Melissa and Izuku would stand there in the office, shocked that Sir Nighteye was so casual with their secret identities. How did you? I'm aware of many things, Midoriya. That's one thing you should know. However, what I want to know, and I'll ask again, why should I let the two of you come to my agency? I have many quality heroes and many other talents. What can you both possibly have to offer? And just saying that you're the successors of two great heroes wouldn't be enough to count in my book. Of course, he would originally have the idea of trying to get the both of them to make him laugh. They both tried in various ways, Izuku even doing an imitation of All Might. However, Sir Nighteye would take it as offense. However, Izuku would explain that the particular face he used was for a particular incident that happened long ago. The vinegar incident, if you will. Of course, Sir Nighteye had to give him his props for something that even he didn't recognize. However, all the same, he wasn't entirely swayed. The two of them had their forms and he had the stamp. He wanted to give them a little test. If they wanted their paper stamped, all they had to do was take it from him. That was easier said than done. Sir Nighteye's quirk allowed him to see briefly into the future. Thus, he could predict all of their movements. However, when it came to Izuku, while Melissa was channeling the power of One for All in small dosages and percentages, Izuku, was staying on his cues the whole time, and Sir Nighteye had to give him the boy his props. For someone without a quirk, he was definitely very effective. He could see that the molding of the Batman had taken hold of him, more so than any of other successors that the Batman had. From Nightwing to Red Hood to Red Robin to Sparrow, all of them. This one felt different. No, he didn't just feel different, he was different. All the same though, their time limit to grab the stamp would come to an end. While the two of them had failed, he had to be impressed with something else, an aspect about them. Sir Nighteye's office was filled with All Might memorabilia. Not only had they almost wrecked the office, but nothing of value was destroyed. He was able to see with precise detail that both did not harm any of the All Might collectibles, not even once. It showed that despite the power and the skill that they had, They were also tactful enough not to damage anything of value. This could apply to the lives that they would have to save. Even if they were causing damage, they didn't cause damage at the harm of what was most valuable. And, in life or death, that could apply to a civilian. Impressed with the both of them, he would stamp their papers and give them the approval. And now the both of them were part of the Sir Nighteye agency. Of course, for Izuku, he had to do things a little bit differently. Outside of the classmates at UA and the select few, Izuku's identity remained a secret. Whenever he was out and about in his hero costume, he was always in full costume, mask and all. And he was referred to as Batman. So far, people were starting to become a little more associative with the Batman, or at least many were hearing the rumblings of a potential new Batman. Some wondered who it could be. Everyone suspected it had to be someone at UA, but with the heroes always in costume or in things of that nature, it was hard to tell with some compared to others. Izuku's tenure at UA was all but kept a secret at this point. Even when he performed at the sports festival, Izuku was given another hero name, a generic identity if you will, to throw the people off guard. Only the select few that actually knew would know. It was during the time of night, and those in the Sir Nighteye agency were out on patrol. The agency had been working a case for the last few months, looking into a particular individual, a man by the name of Kai Chisaki, who was said to be the leader of the Yakuza group, the Shie Saikai. Izuku had gotten a look at the picture of Chisaki, a young man with brown hair, dressed casually to a degree, green jacket with fur, and he wore what appeared to be a plague mask, something from the medieval period or something like that. All the same, as Izuku glided through the air during the night, he being on his own while Sir Nighteye was with Bubble Girl and Melissa was with Mirio, Izuku thought more and more about how things had changed, about how far he came and how far he still had to go. As he landed in an alleyway, he thought he heard something. A girl. Just then, a small girl would come running towards him. She looked up at him. She was a bit afraid, but despite his look, Izuku promised everything was alright. When no one was around, he lifted his mask to show his true face with a smile, assuring the young girl that everything would be fine. See? I know the mask might make me a little, but I promise, I'm a hero. Are you alright? Where are your parents? Harry, where are you? Izuku felt the girl squeeze his arm. That must have been her name. But if someone's calling out for her, why isn't she going towards him? It was then that Izuku would think back to his training with Bruce, going all the way back to detective work, or Detective Studies 101. Izuku would remember the flashback as he sat beside Bruce at the back computer, looking over many case files. Some of them were against supervillains, but others were ordinary, some about missing and exploited children. Izuku remembered that day fondly. Now, pay attention to this, Izuku. This will be the next part of the lesson. Right, sir. When you're dealing with missing children and you're looking for them, there are telltale signs that you'll want to look out for in all cases. For one, the child's condition, how they look. Are their clothes new or are they torn and rathered? That'll tell you the conditions they've probably been living in for a good while. Also, you'll want to tell for a child's body language, especially around certain adults who may be the perpetrators. More often than not, the whims and the needs of children often go overlooked by adults, even sometimes by heroes. They think that just finding the child is simple enough. However, you'd be surprised how many times that a child can tell you everything just by the way they act. For example, if they're around a certain adult and they seem to tense up and be afraid, if they seem to grab onto your hand a lot more tighter than usual, if they don't go running out as soon as this individual calls their name, then chances are whoever this individual is to them, even if they know them, it's not someone they would consider friendly. In life, you'll only have a split second to make such a decision. Do you allow yourself to be exposed, or do you wait and play things out by ear? These are the things you'll have to look out for in the field. Thinking back to that moment, in the alleyway, there was just enough space behind the dumpster, along with other debris and other things. Izuku would quickly move he and the girl into the darkness. He would place his hand gently over her mouth. Shh, just keep quiet. Eri, you're being a bad little girl, you know. Why do I have to do this inside of a filthy alley like this? Are you hiding? If you can hear me, I want you to know you have two choices. You can either come out right now, and I promise everything will be forgiven. But if you try running off, I'll send them after you. You remember what happened last time. That poor family. Those kids. They all got hurt because of you. Are you really gonna be that selfish, Eri? The girl was shaking. She almost wanted to leave, but she couldn't. Izuku held her close in his arms, one hand covering her mouth, the other one patting her head calmly to make sure that she stayed calm and that she didn't give away their position. They were in the shadows. However, as Chisaki passed, he looked almost as if he were staring directly at them, although from his point of view, all he could see was darkness. His eyes seemed to linger on their position for what seemed like eternity. Eri blinking, Izuku looking back, Chisaki looking as though he stared into nothing but darkness before walking on, walking out into the streets and disappearing into the crowd. Izuku waited. Before the right moment, he would take the young girl into his arms. As he jumped high into the air immediately, he would move to the rooftops with the girl holding close to him, holding and clutching him, not allowing him to go. It seems he's gone. Oh well. I've got to get her back to the agency. No. Hospital? Izuku wasn't sure of what to do. As such, he would call Sir Nighteye and everyone to let them know what had happened, before immediately taking the young girl to the hospital. Sir Nighteye would arrive along with the police. Of course, everyone was surprised to hear what had happened. Of course, in terms of keeping his identity a secret, Izuku wouldn't be in the room with Eri. Instead, he was in another room, as Sir Nighteye walked in. And just what was that, Midoriya? Would you mind not using my name so loudly right now? Don't want someone to hear. Right. Well, Batman, care to explain what you did? Bringing her here? The girl was in trouble. What was I? You were supposed to let her go. We've been tracking Chisaki for a while now. That girl could have been what we needed to get into the base, to truly break through with this case and everything else. That girl was terrified. If I had let her go, then there was no telling what was going to happen next. You don't know that either. And you do, just because you can see the future. I've been at this a lot longer than you. Everything I've seen, it's always come to fruition. What you did tonight could have put the whole case in jeopardy. I'm sorry, but if you can't do things as you're told, then I'm going to have to remove you from the agency. Does there seem to be a problem? Sir Nighteye would turn to see Bruce Wayne standing at the door. I figured you'd show up. Good to see you, Nighteye. Mr. Wayne. Izuku made the right decision. The girl being brought here. It's actually done more for your case than even you might realize. That bullet you were tracking, right? The one that was used on that Kirishima boy. Kirishima? Izuku's thoughts would race now, wondering what had happened. Yes, it was a bullet that could be used to erase one's own quirk. There were samples of blood within that bullet, meaning that someone was being used to make them. That girl, if you test the DNA, I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. What? You think she's the one? Yes. If she's the one that's been used, her blood, her body, then it means, in all likelihood, she is the one that's being used by the Shie Asaikai. Izuku would clench his fist at this. There was no way. Could someone really do something like that? The young girl was being observed by the doctors for a while. The police would go in for questions, although she could hardly speak. Izuku would be asked to come in, still dressed as Batman. As he came into the room, the girl would look up, seeing him. You're... Hey, yeah. How you feeling? I don't know. Listen, we're gonna do everything we can to make sure that you're safe, alright? I promise. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. I won't let it. We want to find the people that hurt you. Make sure that they're put away so that they can't harm you or anyone else ever again. You don't have to say anything you don't want to. Just tell us anything you know, okay? The girl would take a deep breath as she nodded. I was dead. What? He put his hand on my face, my arms. He hurts them. He takes my blood. He takes me apart over and over again. And then he puts me back together. Sometimes it hurts a little, and sometimes it hurts a lot. I disappear and come back. It's scary. I don't want to go again. Please. I don't want to. It's okay. I promise it's okay. Izuku would give her a hug in that moment as she cried softly in his arms. A deep, boiling hatred began to brew within him. As he left the room, he sat on top of the roof of the hospital. There had been some debris left up there, some old wooden planks and boards. By the time Bruce arrived, they were all smashed and broken to pieces. I figured you would be here. I'm sorry. I just had to. I understand. Crimes against children is not something that can ever be taken lightly. You feel it, don't you? That anger, that rage. I want to kill him. I know you do. How? How could someone do something like that to their own daughter? The darkness of man is something we may never fully comprehend. In this line of work, you're going to see a lot of things. You're going to see some things you wished you hadn't saw. You'll see things that try a man's soul, that make you question why you do what you do. I'm just so angry. How do you don't let go of that anger. You never let go. You never forget. That is what you do. The worst thing that can happen is that you get to a point where stuff like this doesn't faze you. When you reach that point, that's when you're truly lost. Every case, every crime, it should drive you. It should motivate you. It should want you to be better, to make a world where children do not have to suffer in that way. That is the essence of a hero. You use that anger righteously. It fuels the crusade. However, you do not kill. You do not stoop to his level. You bring him in by the book. I understand. Bruce would pat him on the back. It's getting late. You should go home and get some rest. You want me to drive you? No thanks. I can get there on my own. See you, Mr. Wayne. While Erie was being kept in the hospital, Sir Nighteye and the agency had to change gears on their tactics. From what they had learned about what Izuku had said, it seemed like Chisaki wasn't going to let this go. You said that he was going to send them? That's what I heard Izuku would say to Sir Nighteye. He said if Erie didn't come out, then he would send them. In all likelihood, he's working with someone, some group. This must not have been the first time she got away. He said that there was a family. Have there been a family murder within a certain time frame? There was a case, I want to say about 5 months ago. There was a family, a father, a mother, son and daughter. I want to say it was a homicide, but honestly, the details are far too graphic. Hardly to say if there was anything left. If she's connected to the case, then it must make sense. It has to. She must have ran away. She ran to this family seeking help. In all likelihood, Chisaki, or maybe his associates, they came by to take her back, and they made sure that there were no witnesses. He's awful, Mirio would say. How is she? Is she all right? Melissa would ask. For now, she's being kept in a private facility. That's just to make sure that she's okay. However, we're going to have to move her from the hospital. To where? To here, Sir Nighteye would tell them. There's a bunker. I have one set up. We can hide her out here for now. Thankfully, my office is far enough from any populated areas, and we're not too far from the police station. For now, our best bet is to hire out either here or maybe at the station. Police station might be the best place, Mirio would say. It's a lot more fortified, especially with the Wayne tech. If we keep her there, then I doubt Chisaki will try to get in there. At least, it won't be easy. You're right. We'll have to keep her in a private facility within the police station, at least for now. If Chisaki tries to make his move, then we'll have all of our heroes there on standby. We can take him down once and for all. With the plan now set in motion, Eri would be moved to a secret bunker under the police station. Upon doing so, Izuku would make sure that she had everything she needed. Bruce was making sure that the police station was as fortified as it could be. Of course, you could never be too careful, especially dealing with quirk users. In the meanwhile, Izuku would continue his work studies, all while still thinking about Eri, hoping and making sure she was alright. While he was out and about one night, he would actually run into two of his classmates, that being Dinky Kaminari and Jiro, the electric and sound-based heroes respectively. However, they looked a little different. Jiro looked like her ordinary self, although Kaminari was sporting kind of a different look. It was more yellow, but he was wearing a hood. He also held what appeared to be a bow, like an archer. Except he didn't have a quiver of arrows or anything like that, no. He was using his electricity as arrows. Izuku was surprised to see that something like that was even possible. The two would stand back to back while dealing with some thugs. As Izuku would swoop in, the two would turn. Hey, Bats, you made it. Yeah. Hey, Batman. Hey, guys. You guys seem to be different. Yeah, it's all thanks to our training. However, their conversation would be cut mid-sentence as they had to fend off the last of the goons. Once they had finished, they would hear clapping in the distance. Good job, you two. And, the new bats arrived. Nice to meet you, kid. The older man dressed in green would reach out his hand to Izuku. Yes, you're the Green Arrow. One and only. So, you saw how my pupil did. He took out 6 punks. Yes, dear, but mine took out 8. The Black Canary? What are you two doing here? Oh, we got a call about you heroes from a good old friend of ours, All Might. You know All Might? He used to be a hero in the United States, before he came back to Japan. He worked with us for a bit, although that was in our younger years. Anyway, we were told about a lot of the potential you students had, and because of that, we picked out these two in particular. Wanted to train and see if they were up to snuff. Oh, I see. So you guys have been training with Black Canary and with the Green Arrow. That's impressive. Yeah. And what about you, training with the old mystery guy? So, what's he like? Well, he's definitely demanding, I can say that. Oh, is he now? I bet he's still as grumpy as he always was, even in the old days. Could hardly ever get him to break a smile. You worked with the Batman? Of course. You could say we were a part of a league back then, if you will. But, time gets on and we all get up there in age. Figured he had retired peacefully. Never thought he was going to pick another student. But it's good to see that there's a new Batman in the world. Wouldn't be right not to have him. So, you guys hungry? We can go out to eat anywhere you want to go. After everyone's suggestions and finding an area to change out of their hero costumes, they would all go out for dinner. Sushi. I mean, sure, they had it in the US, but still, you can't beat prime sushi in Japan, now can you? Meanwhile, in a secret base, the members of the League of Villains sat, waiting to see what was going to happen next. They looked to Shigaraki, who wasn't too thrilled with Chisaki, aka Overhaul, as he walked into the room, wiping his forebrow with a handkerchief. So, this was your master plan? To make quirk erasing bullets, and then to lose the source of which how you made them. I gotta say, you talked a lot of crap about my league, and yet you seem the one that's running a sloppy shop. No need to get into a panic. It's not like this is the first time it's happened before. It won't be the last. Although I will say, if what I've gathered is true, then things are going to be a lot more difficult. It seems they've moved Erie into a bunker under the police station. The police? Jinx would ask. Are you serious? What are we going to do? Just storm in there like it's Fort Knox? And just how on earth are you going to get her out? No, my Jinx. I have people. We're going to be putting together a team, and we're going to get in there and take back the supply. Just like that. Just storm into a police station and just take her back. And just how many cops do you plan on killing in the process? You don't need to worry. I only take out what I need to. Besides, if my team is as effective as I know they are, then this might actually turn out to be bloodless. What's the matter? You afraid of getting your hands dirty? Jinx would look away in disgust. All of this was getting out of hand. It doesn't really matter now, does it? Shigaraki would say. This had better work. Otherwise, me and my crew are pulling out. Have faith, comrade. I assure you, this will all blow over soon enough. Chisaki would leave them as he walked into another room. There, a group of soldiers dressed in black with what appeared to be bird masks looked up to him. You guys get here quick. All right. Here's the target. The girl, the main one would ask. How many times are you going to lose her? Come on, Talon. You should learn to lighten up a bit. After all that stress and all that anxiety, it's not good for your health now, is it? I'm serious. The headmaster is getting tired of the delays. You promised liberation. It seems you may not be able to deliver. I'll deliver when it's time to deliver. However, I can't do a damn thing until we get Erie back. We know where she is. I can make the way. We get in there, we take her, and any heroes that try to stop us, we cut them down. But still, if we do this, there is no going back. Chisaki looked out the window, looking upon the city. This place is nothing more but disease, infested by a sickness called heroism. For me personally, I wish to restore things back to the way they used to be. So, no more hiding. No more sitting in the shadows. It's time to bring this age of heroes to an end. By any means necessary. So you know what? Tonight, let's make some noise. These heroes have been hidden away in their precious tower built on the symbol of peace. But he's gone. And soon, there will be nothing more to smile about. Chisaki would turn back to Talon. The age of heroes is over. This concludes My Hero Academia: The Dark Knight Returns. What If Deku Was Batman? Season 2, Part 2. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue High School DxD Fallen Hero. What If Issei Was the Blue Beetle? Season 2, Part 2. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.